see how much kidnappers are picking for victims.
My thing is, government should, I think all the stakeholders in that get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once again, the support your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning and welcome to midweek edition of Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Bobo and it's my pleasure to have our Wednesday tonic today in the studio. He was unavoidably absent last week, and of course his presence was fully felt. Mr. Jide Ojo, it's always a pleasure to host you on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians. Pleasure to be here.
He's a public affairs analyst, a TV host, and a syndicated columnist. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
Yeah. For review this morning, we have 4 papers on our menu. We have Leadership, Nigeria's most influential. It's a publication, National Economy, THISDAY, and Nigerian Tribune. These are the papers we have for review this Wednesday, 1st June 2022. Happy New Month. Of course, we're flagging off with Nigeria's most influential, Leadership. Let's see what Leadership is saying. In final push for consensus, PNB says, I will choose my successor. In final push for consensus, PNB says, I will choose my successor as progressive governors to support the anointed one. Party crisis deepens. Vice Chairman Kekemen Lukman move against Adamu, accuse him of rendering National Working Committee members redundant, taking decisions unilaterally. Osinbajo, Lawan Bello, Fayemi, Ayade Odun, Jack Rich, Okorocha, 2 others screamed. I'll take it again. The headline story in final push for consensus, PNB says, I will choose my successor. As progressive governors to support the anointed one. Party crisis deepens. Vice Chairman Kekemen Lukman move against Adamu, accuse him of rendering NWC members redundant, taking decisions unilaterally. Osinbajo, Lawan Bello, Fayemi, Ayade Onu, Jack Rich, Okorocha, 2 others screened. The story is on page 4 of Leadership newspaper. What is your take?
What?
PNB actually met with governors.
Yes, yesterday, before he jetted out with 7 ministers to Spain. We are doing well, at least on foreign trips. It's 8 foreign trips in 5 months.
8.
The 8th in 5 months.
Okay.
He went to Dubai
like
less than a week.
He just came back from this African country.
Equatorial Guinea.
Yes.
Well, he's doing well. We thank God for his health. In 2017, we were all worried. The president is fit and fit now, so he wants to choose himself. Yes, he met with governors, 22 of them, other APC yesterday, and spoke to them on the need for them to have a consensus. And incidentally, that's why the huge number, we were thinking it would be difficult to reach a consensus, but that section where you sign your withdrawal letter, maybe that's what they will use to invoke a consensus. But the fillers from those who attended the meeting actually said the president was appealing to the governors to support whoever emerges so that they can win. And the burden is on the president. The burden that is on him is that if APC does not win, if APC did not win the 2023 presidential election, APC will have become a one-tenor party. And that's the moral burden. So they need to look for whoever can challenge Atiku, because is Atiku Peter Obi and the rest now. Let's be magnanimous that Peter Obi also have very huge following. And I see Peter chucking millions of votes. But whether it will be enough to win the seat is because it may not have the appeal in the north.
No, yes, it doesn't.
It
According
doesn't
to the
seem,
polls that have been
yeah,
carried out so far.
it doesn't seem to, it seems to be a southern phenomenon. And unfortunately, Labour Party does not have the structure, across the country that can turn people out to. But youth of Nigeria majorly are rooting for Peter. But the moral burden on PNB now is about somebody who can counter and
Yes, I said
neutralize.
somebody that has electoral value. That
Exactly.
people will like.
That's the kind of person you want around you now. Somebody with electoral value, and that's the moral body. But one thing that surprised me is this kite flown about Goodluck Jonathan. Eventually, we didn't hear that he was screened, and luckily for Rocha Okorocha,
It was
from detention to screening venue, he was eventually able to make the screening. Which is a heartwarming news for me.
Actually, leading story today is just still what other papers led with. Let's see what Nigerian Tribune is saying on the story. Nigerian Tribune, I need your support in picking my successor, Buhari tells APC governors. I need your support in picking my successor, Buhari tells APC governors. And the story is on page 2 of Nigerian Tribune. From Nigerian Tribune, let's also see what THISDAY is saying. Still on successor for Buhari. Buhari meets governors, moves to choose successor, still consulting. Buhari meets governors, moves to choose successor, still consulting. Says his candidate will give Nigerians sense of victory, confidence ahead of poll. Governors meeting deadlocked. NWC members accuse Adamu of rendering body redundant, taking unilateral decisions. The story is on this day and page 41 of the paper. Buhari meets governors, moves to choose successor, but still consulting.
Well, yes, that's the major news from yesterday.
Yes,
in all the
virtually all the papers.
yes, and they all see that meeting as very instrumental. And people were surprised that he had their meeting and they jetted to Spain.
Yes.
The man is counting down. He's counting down from his presidency, and he made that much remark yesterday that, look, I'm winding down my administration. Valley left with less than 1 year now, and he needed to make a careful choice because whether as a consensus or as anointed candidate, whoever is fielded should be someone who will unify the party, should be someone with electoral value, someone who has a national spread appeal. I like the optimism and upbeat of 3 people among those who are clear. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, and Osinbajo. The 3 of them, after the screening, were very upbeat. In fact, Lawan said he was screened as a candidate, not as an aspirant. He was screened as a candidate. Asiwaju said he's the man to beat.
Yes, but in Lawan's case, the former governor of Abia State, Senator Ojikalu, has been advocating for his candidature, saying that now that PDP is out with has given the ticket to Atiku, he's also Lawan is a man to beat in APC. How do you see that?
I really wonder whether
Both
for those of us who believes in Igbo presidency, for those of us who believe in Igbo presidency in 2023, this man is making our job very difficult. That's who because you are fighting for a people, and they are one of their chieftains, one of their eminent sons. He's saying, look, let power go to the north.
Again.
We are not ready. So who am I to
drop the gun and say no?
To send, so let them do whatever. You saw what happened also with the votes on Saturday. Out of 95,
They gave only 15.
58 to Ohabuwa and Yayi scored 14. At least the Ebonyi delegates voted for him.
And they gave the other votes to
The Ohabuwa also had one as against Bob G. Dele Momodu scored 0. That your fire who scored 0. So the issue for me is really APC is in a fix.
But according to Ojikalu, if I may quote him, he said the situation was such that, since the people in the fray were no longer only Southeast people, and even among the South,
it's not for him to be promoting.
None of them was willing to, stop down. They were not able to arrive at the consensus. So he just felt that, well, it's the same Northeast too has also been marginalized. They have not produced president. If it's based on that,
do you think Ahmed Lawan has the same clout as Atiku?
No.
Of course not. So even if he emerges as a candidate of APC, that's not to say he's going to find the Southwest vote or Southeast vote easy. How many people will vote for him in Rivers, in Akwa Ibom? See, Nigeria is more than that's the mistake people like Oji Uzoka, because they are ethnic jingoists. Because you are being a governor in Abia, what's the size of Abia State in Nigeria? And you are a serving senator, and so bloody what? The bottom line is that, does Ahmed Lawan have the electoral clout of even Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I'm not being I'm not an ethnic jingoist. I'm rooting for Igbo presidency. But I'm saying between Ahmed Lawan and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has a national spread and appeal? Who? So that Ahmed Lawan has been in Senate, what is the value he has contributed to that Senate? So I think we need to be very careful and mindful of some of the ways we are trying to market our aspirants. I don't have anything personal against Ahmed Lawan. I'm only saying that what the meeting Buhari had yesterday was a well-intended meeting, and I hope, because the electoral advantage, the advantage that APC has is that out of 36 states, APC is in control of 22 states.
Yes.
So that's more than 2/3. No, that's about 2/3. 24 is the 2/3 of 36. So if you are controlling 22, and ABGA is controlling 1, that's 23. So PDP is in control of the rest. And if you already you have almost 2/3 threshold in your kitty, where you have governors that can help you deliver on the vote, then you are almost halfway through. Unlike PDP, who have lost massively, lost Ayade, lost Umahi, lost the Sanfaraman, Bello Matawale. So, and even you can't say that Obaseki is fully in PDP, given the crisis that because it's since he joined, it has been, he couldn't form his cabinet for over 1 year. Even now, the issue has not been laid to rest, and so
still caught, the issue is still engulfed
because of people he brought from APC to PDP. The PDP people were reluctant to cede power to freshers who came in from APC. So what I'm saying invariably is that we need to look at the burden on APC. They need to be very careful.
And because sorry to cut in again, it was the court that actually recognized the Obi-led faction party.
In
Edo. I don't think if not, Wike would have gotten up to that.
And that Obi is Wike's protest.
Yes, the governor's faction to recognize. Of course, where the time
of course. So that issue, crisis of confidence, it does not give. So PDP cannot really fully count on Edo as one of their states. But irrespective of that, I think we are watching closely. By this time next week, we'll be able to do more analysis on chances of all the
And
candidates
candidate,
that have
yes.
emerged. Two frontline candidates have emerged.
Mm.
Peter Obi in
Labour
Labour,
Party.
and
But Labour Party, as we speak, is also engulfed in a crisis, internal crisis, because there are factions. Factions.
that will be an undoing if they
Mm.
cannot reconcile themselves.
Yeah, they can.
But
They
they
have two
have
factions
they
now.
have a commodity in Obi that is marketable, and a lot of youths are
Now I'm
believing in Obi.
mobilizing. Yes.
Women groups are also believing. In fact, there is a colleague of mine in Gombe State. In fact, it's from last. Oh, the slogan for Peter Obi is obedient.
Obedient.
So, as that of Atiku is articulate.
Articulate,
And you
yes.
know,
Mm.
that was the sloganeering in 2019. Although they are yet to do articulate this time, but I've seen obedient. I don't know what they will do for whoever emerges from APC. But it's a time for sober reflection for APC. More so with this internal crisis that is engulfing the NWC. It's not
Mm.
good. It's not a good omen for APC. With Lukman Salihu and Kekeme,
But you know,
accusing Adamu of running a one-man
yes,
show.
and you know that was the fears even before when Buhari nominated him as his consensus. That the
Yes.
fear was that he's so autocratic, or what do you say? And I think he's playing out now. What do you see the
Well,
chances of
there is a lot of pressure on him, and you don't. There is no luxury of time. Do you know that APC was just not ready for the primaries
Mm,
last week
mm,
or early this week? They
yes. They
scheduled
have
it
to
for
move it
Monday,
forward.
Tuesday, Abi,
Mm,
30, 31st. If INEC had not acceded
mm,
to granting them that waiver of additional 6 days, they would
mm,
have been in a serious mess. They have not set up the relevant committee. They have not even done the screening.
mm.
They just concluded the screening on the 31st,
Yesterday.
yesterday. They they don't know whether it will still be consensus or whether it's going to be elected, and how many ballot boxes do they need to provide for, and even the issue of delegate list. There have been all manner of crisis of confidence. People saying that some names have been smuggled
Mm,
into the delegate list, or it's been swapped, and
mm,
all of that. In fact, in about 5 states, they have not been able to resolve their governorship candidacy in APC. So it's a party in crisis. And the crisis that led to even the convention not holding for close to 2 years
mm. But
under Memala
But
Buni.
don't you think that with what played out during the convention and all those, they have been able to manage their crisis so well? Nobody
But
expected
but
that they would say
but
this long.
why they brought somebody like Adamu was
Mm,
because he was the chairman of their reconciliation committee,
mm.
and given his 75, they felt that everybody will kowtow to him and they will
Yes,
be able to command a lot of respect.
respect.
But that's not to say he has to run a one-man show. A tree does not make a forest. If members of your NWC are not carried along, there will be sabotage. You cannot just be single-handedly. I mean, they all are supposed to report at the party offices, have meetings on how to do things, and get them assigned responsibility to them. Okay, you be in charge of media and publicity, you in charge of logistics, you in charge of security, you in charge of venue, you get decoration, and there is a lot to be done. You saw what PDP did at the velodrome over the weekend, and now they are using the Eagle Square. So a lot needs to be done, but luckily enough, INEC, they were able to get INEC uh, to give them six
6 days,
days of grace,
grace.
and that 6 days, it's not a lot of time, because they need to upload their candidates nomination. It's after this they will start getting give the victorious aspirants a certificate of return. Then they will give them the nomination form. They have not gotten nomination form. What they get is the expression of interest form, because the nomination form is to be submitted to INEC is CF001. That is the nomination from the party. All these aspirants that have this form, those forms are just for the party. Yeah, I don't know if you get my drift. Those ones are more like expression of interest. Although they say expression of interest / nomination, but it's only the nominee of the party that will get the nomination form.
Okay.
I don't know if you get my drift.
I'm getting
So
it.
it's expression of interest that I intend to aspire. That's the form they got. So whoever becomes victorious will now get issued the nomination form. You will now fill it CF001. All your details will be filled. And that's what you will be uploading on a dedicated portal of INEC. INEC has said, don't bring any print copy or hard copy to our office. We are dealing with you electronically because of COVID-19 and also because of the infusion of technology into the electoral process. So this is not the best of time for APC because they know that Atiku will give them a run for their money. And now, with Peter Obi in the fray, the fear is we might even be heading to an inconclusive election in 2023 because where you have 2-3 strong candidates, you may not have somebody who will run away.
But this time around, like some analysts did say that Atiku's votes were mainly from, like for instance, an analyst said Anambra votes alone that was given to Atiku was much more than Damawa one. Now that Atiku may not depend on Sat's votes and even maybe some part of Sasa, what are his chances?
Well, it's early in the day to talk about Atiku's chance. I think chances is bright. It's very bright. In the last presidential election, he scored 11 million votes. That stands for something. Buhari scored 15 million votes. So a difference of about 4 million separates them. But if somebody has that kind of huge number of votes, it shows the potential of being a winner. It's like Real Madrid and Barcelona, they alternate power. And I'm yet to see any politician that have that clout. And when you say Anambra votes is more than Adamawa votes, you also need to know the context that played out. Peter Obi was a running mate to Atiku in 2019. And Peter Obi is from Anambra State. So at least he will get home support now for the sake of his
what the analyst was saying that the home support from Anambra was even much more than that for the president's own.
From the presidential candidates, so that's from
both of them were run together.
Yes, but that is not a good or fair way to assess Atiku's chances. Atiku is a bridge builder. Atiku has network and net worth across the length and breadth of Nigeria. He's married to a Yoruba lady who runs NAPTIP. Was it NAPTIP? There was a name, but against Whatcliff. Was it Whatcliff? While NAPTIP eventually. So Titi Abubakar. So, but it's not just by marriage. In 1999, he actually sponsored a lot of governorship candidates. So that was why he was almost using that to upset Obasanjo in 2003, in particular in 2002, ahead of 2003 election, that all his loyalists who are governors, he was ready to activate that structure to get. But you see,
so who is the man to beat now? You just spoke about Atiku.
Atiku is the man to beat as of today.
So who is the man to beat in APC?
Because Winifred, you also need to factor a lot will be Atiku's chances will either be impeded or enhanced by his running mate. Because the South is embittered that this is our turn. We have had our Nausa Fulani for 7 years. It will be 8 years. So we may not be very keen to vote for Atiku Abubakar for whatever is what. So, and even the North Central is not that popular Atiku is not very popular in Plateau, Benue, Taraba, and all of that. So, and you know, even Bala Mohammed of Baji is not rooting for him. So, what I'm saying is, who will he choose as a running mate? Is he going to choose Wike? If he chooses Wike, that could maybe get him a Rivers vote, but not necessarily Bayelsa or any other South state. Because, again, Wike comes with a liability. The way he talks down on people, the way his rhetorics, and his very combative approach to it's not helping him.
Don't see statesmen talking that.
You don't talk of even the Niger Delta youths are not happy with him. The way, and this Dagogo guy that he got to be picked up by the police, and who is now just because you don't want him to be a governorship aspirant, and despite appeals, the guy has been, in fact, um, I'm not sure whether the guy has been released now. He wasn't even allowed to participate in the primary. That again has made some enemy for Wike within Rivers State. So how much more when you have fought with your brother governors, he is fought with Obaseki, calling him names. You don't do that in politics, more so when you are aspiring for a leadership position. It would have been okay for Wike to be running for Senate. Then it's within his state, and of course, depending on what people feel has been his achievement, they may reward him with a senatorial ticket or senatorial election. But so people are saying, oh, because Wike came second in the primary, he will likely be the running mate. But I think Atiku will be making a lot of mistakes if he chooses Wike. But will he go for Ayim? Payosayim, how appealing is Payosayim or as a running mate, or would that assuage the Southwest to follow Southwest and South to want to lie behind because now Ohaneze Ndigbo has even said that none of the Southeastern who is aspiring for number one position should agree to be vice president, that they don't support a vice president, that they are not ready for appeasement with a vice presidential slot. So the Ohaneze Ndigbo may not mobilize people to support. And we don't know yet where the APC pendulum will swing. But you see, 24 hours is a long time.
So, who is the person to beat in APC? Is what I want to hear.
Yes, the person to beat right now, in my own estimation, is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Take it or leave it. Like I said, I'm not his fan, and I'm not rooting for Yoruba presidency in 2023. I'm rooting for an Igbo presidency. But if you will be fair and dispassionate, right now, the person who can match Atiku wealth for wealth, money for money, influence for influence is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because, okay, if you say not, okay, maybe I don't know the spread of or the acceptance of somebody like Jigawa State Governor, Abubakar Badawi. I think he's running. Abdulaziz Yari or the Safa governor. No, it's not Yari. The former governor that became a senator. Is it that one that you want to field against? Yerima. Is it Ahmed Yerima that you field against an article that will fly? Or is it Ahmed Lawa that you feel? But when you look at somebody who has been able to penetrate even the north, it's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And it's not somebody that you give ticket and he will be doing fundraiser. Already now,
yes, William Vance at his disposal.
The vice president have got to open a portal where he's asking for people to do crowdfunding. So if you don't get money inside your face, like this is the money. This is money matter. Because come to think of it, did you know that a serious candidate in 2023 Part of how you know how serious is a person. INEC has 176,000 plus polling units now, and you are to field at least one polling agent in each. 176,000. Assuming you are paying each of those polling agents 5,000 for serving your interest or the interest, look at how many billions you will be paying. 176,000 polling units. That's where many people's vote.
Just going to
Even that's where Peter Obi will not be able to afford.
But Peter Obi has money.
Which money? Is he
not that
ready
he
to
doesn't-
spend his
He's
money?
not ready to spend it, but he's also as rich as some of
He's
most
not as rich as Ajiwaju. He
Yes.
may be rich, but
Yes,
you know the money game. No, one thing is you may be rich. Are you willing to spend?
the money? Yes.
Ajiwaju is willing to break bank, to sell any of his assets, to if it's to say, okay, pay us in dollars, it was because he said it's his lifelong ambition.
Vision to become.
Hey, just like Atiku. Atiku has been in the race for 29 years, since 1992.
Same with Buhari, who later got.
Buhari didn't have that length of time. Buhari
He
just
came
was
back
consistent 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015. You get it, that's the period. Atiku has been contesting since 1992. Asiwaju said this is a lifelong ambition. At least it started in 1999. So you are counting 23 years for Asiwaju. You are counting 26 years and 29 years for Atiku. So, and these people, whether...
But don't forget that Asiwaju was governor then, 1999.
Yes, for 7 years.
So
but he has remained relevant.
20...
He has remained relevant.
Yes,
and he has produced a lot of godsons and goddaughters.
While waiting to realize.
We are waiting. So he can, if he even is. Did you know that within 2 weeks of his declaring his admission in January 2022, there were how many? 15,000, how many thousands of Asiwaju support groups that were formed within 2 weeks. And there are a couple of them who tackled me on social media and said, look, he's not giving us money. We are just supporting him. And they printed face caps and vests for themselves, and they identified with it. So what I'm saying is that on the face of it, is it Pastor Bakari you said will match Asiwaju, or or even Fayemi, or Boroface, who is not known beyond those states, or Dimeji Bankole, who has been off the radar. Those ones are not contenders in the real sense of it. Those are the very ones that are easy to persuade to step down. But the real contender in APC, in my own estimation, the Tinubu or Shimbajo, because of his incumbency factor, maybe Lawa to an extent. Who else?
Amechi.
Yeah, Amechi, but Amechi has an albatross. Amechi is coming from Niger Delta. Whether he wants to make us believe he's Igbo, South will not get mouth, quote and unquote, because of Goodluck Jonathan has been governor for 5 years, representing the South region. So I don't see people voting
what
an
about
Amechi.
the Chukwuemeka, the former minister of state,
Nwajuba. What is his political clout?
See Ogbonaya Onu. Leadership carry the story that Ogbonaya Onu may be the dark horse.
Yes, Ogbonaya Onu has also have a life ambition.
But
Don't
he also
forget
has integrity like
Buhari. Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Yes. Like Buhari. Yes, he does. But Ogbonaya Onu has also been nursing presidential ambition. I think he also joined. He also contended for that seat in 1992, and then he was a national chairman of ANPP for some years, and he's been able to reinvent himself politically. But he's on the quiet side, and he's a perfect gentleman. In fact, I believe that he could be
apart from Obasanjo, our president have always been the type, the quiet type. You talk
Yeah,
about
what I all know has
late
never rocked the boat.
Yaradua. You know, he was quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
Jonathan too.
Yeah.
Buhari. You know, they don't.
Well,
They are not
it's not
garrulous.
about being quiet or not being quiet. This one, now money matter. You know, you must be ready to spend and spend and spend. And the now one campaign period has been extended from 90 days to 150 days. That will go up a lot of money. Then look at even funding of polling agents. Unless the party is able to tick that off an aspirant. If an aspirant will be the one to also pay.
No, the party is supposed to do it.
The parties, but they are not doing it. That's the truth. It's the aspirant that is the candidate that is paying
because
for
once
polling
you become
agents.
a candidate, a party's candidate, the party is supposed to put structures in place.
Did you
to
know,
ensure
Winifred? Did you know that people are saying that it's actually the party that should pay for the logistics of the delegates? But is the party paying? It's the aspirant that are paying. But look at how many billions that APC has made out of sales of nomination and expression.
Yes, I was even coming to that before we leave the subject entirely. Don't you think if Buhari chooses his successor, like he did in asked in during the convention, the money will be refunded to the other party aspirants?
Who will be refunded? Usually, it is written on those ones. Money paid is not refundable. They may have refunded for the convention, but that's a different ballgame. That one is internal party. But for a general election, I'm not sure they will refund though. And what that means, which is another way that corruption, swears us, is that the frontline aspirant, whoever is the consensus, may be made to Nicodemously. You know, when I say Nicodemously, behind the scene, settle those people out of it.
And he will recoup when he gets
Of course, how will he not recoup? How will you have 24 people stepping down for you and you have to pay each of them at least minimum of 100 million?
So
look at how many million.
Why would Nigeria not continue to
that is it now. That is it. Because at least they said 25 submitted form out of 28.
That is 2.5 billion.
Oh, so you are refunding 2.4 billion. That one now refund though is different from the one you yourself used to settle in the course of consultation. And you have not counted the ones on billboards all over. You have not counted what you also spent during the campaigns for rallies. There's no more COVID-19. At least Nigerians don't believe we still have COVID-19. So there will be all these mega rallies that we are used to before advent of COVID-19, mega rallies in each, maybe local governments now, maybe in many cities across. And each of them could cost you as much as 5 billion to organize. You call musicians, frontline musicians, you do live telecast. You know what it means to do live telecast? Go and ask NTA or channels or any. Live telecast for 2 hours, for 3 hours. And it's not once. Then look at that. I mean, this is even legitimate spending. Polling agents. 176,000 polling units. You have an agent there. And it's not limited to that. You also have agents monitoring the distribution of ballot papers. That one will be different from those who will be at the polling unit. You also have polling agents at collation centers. And look at how many coalitions. We have 8,809 wards. And the coalition is systematic from polling unit to ward to local government. So you have 8,809 polling agents at the ward polling agent. Then you will now have 774 local government polling agent before you now talk about state polling agent. 36 states. Multiply, do the figure. Just imagine you are paying each of these people 5,000, and they won't take 5,000 from you. No. You possibly will be paying 10,000 naira. Yes. Look at how many billions, unless the party is taking it off the. And people don't even volunteers will ask for money for
And
rice and
that's
beans.
exactly what happened in 2015 election. We were told that PDP did not have, was paying its polling agent 5,000, while APC
was paying
paid
more.
more.
So just
That
look at
already
that
set
share.
the tone.
So that's what I'm saying. And if you are not there, you don't have agent, they can trade off.
Yes, they do.
They trade off. So now, to ensure integrity of your vote, you need to engage close to 200,000 polling agents.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
So if you are paying them 10,000, do the math. And that's answer of what you pay for adverts, what you pay for rallies, what you pay for security. Your own personal security with this kidnapping. If those boys speak one front line, they will just say, okay, we know they make trouble. 1 billion. Just transfer 1 billion. So you pay heavily for security. Then you also have to open campaign offices. As a presidential candidate, you open campaign offices in at least 36 states. That's if you cannot afford to do 774 local government. And you have to put people there who will be working for you. Look at how billions gets. So, and the whole Section 88, sub 2 to 7 is saying that a candidate, presidential candidate, shall spend 5 billion. 5 billion that is not enough to even settle people out of the race.
Then what is now the role of the party, your party that propped you?
That is a very good question. We should put the question to them. What's the role that the party plays beyond just saying we are sponsoring your candidacy? What? Because there are certain things the party should take responsibility for. The party will claim that, look, we are organizing this primary and we are spending a lot to organize the primary. It's from this money we are doing that. Of course, they send committees to the states. They have to mobilize them. You understand? Maybe 7-man committee, 5-man committee to go and conduct those primaries. They give them logistics and all of that. And of course, they also have to get venue, ballot papers, ballot policies for those who do that. Because I'm still surprised. Some parties, even APC, is doing direct primaries in some states. They still do or claim to do direct primaries in some states. So what we are saying invariably is that after conducting this, who is supposed to pick the bill for polling agents or party agents? This called, in fact, in the electoral, it's called polling agents. The electoral didn't say party agent, but we are the ones that are used to saying party agent. But what I know from history is that it's the aspirant or the candidate that pays those boys and girls that are engaged as polling agents. And that's what we are saying is that now, if you don't pay them well, they can trade off. So you need to give them money. At least 10,000 naira will be budgeted for each of them. And for those what you may have to raise their own, because if they don't shine their eyes, 2 zeros can turn to 6. And they are done it. You see them on TV say, no, you cheated on you.
I will not accept.
Orubebe. so people like Orubebe, you think he did that for the party alone?
For what you just described, actually, now I know that it's not child's play.
Not be more. I say if you don't get money, hide your face. That's the nature of politics. That's why some people, when they collect the fund, they are not thinking they are doing it's after collecting the fund, they know this is even the easiest part. The easiest part. Look at Amechi that have been going around the states consulting. The same with VP or Shimbajo. The same thing with Ashiwaju. I don't think Lawa even visited anywhere. But at least I know the VP, Amechi, and Jagaban. Went and those consultations not be moment. You go to our new office and say you have come, and then you leave the way you come.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Something has to drop that. And then you are meeting delegates. Delegates. Did you hear Wike's speech? He said, "Well, I've just come to thank you." And he said, "I'm not saying too much. Two things, I'm thanking you. We have met at the state level. At that meeting, you know what?
You know what will happen.
Of
you
course,
know what extend this hand.
So, in fact, the one that they brought to Abuja is just logistics. In fact, over 3 weeks ago, somebody confirmed to me that he got something from one of the aspirants from his team, but that the money must have been given too hastily, in the sense that as at that time, the party has not come with the provision that there will be a new election of ad hoc delegates. They thought they were going to use the delegate they used for the convention, the APC convention, but that the guideline says there will be fresh election of delegates. That means that one that you have given is that one that is that one enter voice mail.
The truth, from what you just said, today, the process is crooked even at the beginning in selecting.
It is, but that's why people to go into drug pushing, into
you still remember you have to sort delegates for them to even vote for you. I mean, you have to sort them, induce them with financial inducement. It's already crooked in the first place.
No, that's what we have been saying now. That unless
what should be done to do away with this? Is there anything that can
I don't
be
have
done?
an easy answer to that.
Is there anything that can be done? Nothing.
What I felt should be done is for parties to stop this indirect primary. It promotes corruption from the word go. Because that's did you? I mean, I used to post on my Facebook wall when I see some interesting stories. There was delegate from Oyo and is it Lagos who granted press interview over the weekend and said that EFCC was wasting their time at the venue of PDP.
Yes,
he said we have been sorted. He said, do you think that these party leaders are stupid? They will carry Ghana must go of money and start sharing it. He said, for those of us who came from states that has PDP governor, that we have been sorted, we've been taking care of, the needful has been done, and that these people have their government lodges in Abuja. They also are the one responsible for their hotel accommodation. So in the money of they will have visited them, and it's not these people. You won't catch one kobo on article. You may, with all this, even if you do a thorough body search, you won't find one kobo. It's his team, and you won't know them. And they will come at all hours, Nicodemously. This is from Turaki. This is from Governor Wike. This is from this. This is from. You won't find anything to link
tie them
to it. So it will be like a third party spending. So even when somebody says, "I got from you," you say, "Me? Did you see me in your hotel? Was I there? Are you sure you are in control of yourself?" It's his team that will go and do it now, in their names, and they do it Nicodemously.
Interesting. Wow, that is all we can take on there.
We are not taking your economic.
No, for this political, we are moving over to.
Okay.
Let's move over to discuss business, not business from delegates.
It's part of business. Did you know this thing affects the economy? This yes. Forex. You can't get forex in the bank.
So withdraw money from the bank during that period.
Even now, between now and when APC will finish, you won't get $1 officially.
Yes, national economy. Professionals raise concerns as Treasury custodians fail integrity tests. Professionals raise concerns as Treasury custodians fail integrity tests. That is the story. Main headline story on national economy assistant publication.
Unfortunately, these Treasury custodians, who are they? So you first need to.
I want you to say.
I wish I know. I wish I know, because the ones I know are financial institutions. Yes. So if we have Treasury custodians who have failed integrity tests, then because this has to do with money. Anything that has to do with treasury has to do with money.
Yes.
And I will want to make an allusion that this is about financial institutions, whether they are called treasury custodians or they are called money deposit bank or they are called microfinance. Once you, as manager of resources, funds, fail integrity test, it's a red flag.
Yeah, it is.
It is a red it is a red flag, and I think the authorities
Even now we still have some bank CEOs that are even being tried for corruption. We still have.
You think
We
this
had,
84 billion naira accused of
it's even more than that.
account?
No,
No,
one is 170 billion.
No, I know. I know that they are fund. They have. He has upgraded. Did you know? Somebody told me on
And
Monday.
they even say it will even be more than
A
that.
senior colleague told me. He was just living through the newspaper. He said, "Jide, it be like say this our accountant general is. It be like sea never dry." That is like sea never dry. I said, "Okay, what did you mean?" He said they've just discovered another 19 billion. I don't remember.
Okay, there was one time like that. You know, when EFCC was trying, one of his late now that was buying houses for his children and all those stuff. I said, come and say, I was shouting in the newsroom. And one of my senior guys said, no, don't stop reading it. You make yourself sad. You make yourself sad. Just drop. Don't just for that. You are going to be sick.
Of course, I will want not be sad. One person, 170 billion traced to him. And what the point I'm trying to make.
It also used to it shows why EFCC said he ignored 80 invitations that were sent to him because he knew he was not the only one.
Yes, he has implicated a lot more people now.
Yes, so
even the PAMSEC,
yes,
and
a
former governor of Sanfara, Abdulaziz Jari, they said that one collected 22 billion.
Yes, that one also an accountant. So,
the point I'm actually trying to make, Winifred, before we close, is these treasury custodians. Did you know that there is no fraud that takes place without people in the accounting industry?
And PEMSEC. PEMSEC, they are also the chief accounting
officer. They are
officer.
the chief accounting officer.
So a minister cannot steal money without
of course now
of the PEMSEC. Because he's the one that approves it.
It is the approving authority. Yes. So this issue of treasury custodians failing integrity, it's a call for concern. But Nigeria is really one. Sometimes I discuss Nigeria to detoxify myself. Because bottling up all these emotions can make one sick. Because I was just looking at this accountant general is the one promoting IPPIS. And he said
the first time I met him, I don't even know, my senior colleague, we went, he's so intelligent, so smart. I myself, I was this.
Crooks are always smart now. You haven't seen us Poppy or Abakiari? I don't know. They're always smart. It's smart people that you have to be. People who are dull like us, that that doesn't have liver. You can't even give me 1 million to keep for you. I will not sleep overnight. 1 million, no, I can't. Even my own personal fund, I can't keep 50,000 in my home. I will. It's like even a drop of pen will wake me up. So, but people who can deal with this kind of huge slush fund are people who are smart. And you know what they say he did? Using cronies, family members, bogus consultancies.
Because they did the story a long time ago. And
no, even ASU was part of those who blew whistle on him.
Really?
Over last year. Yes, last year. Maybe it was published by Sahara Reporters, but ASU was the first to blow whistle.
So the uncle of the 16-year-old girl he married, it was that one that actually blew the lead on
They said the 16-year-old should come and buy.
Yes, and the uncle was like, they should ask him. He should be querying where he got money to give that, Almost. And that was how he was going about looking for who will write the story for him. And eventually,
16-year-old.
It's so sad.
Oh God.
Yes. What we ask is what we call it a day on today's program. Today has been very, very exciting. Obviously, to make up for last week's absence, Mr. Jide, would you?
Bring my own share. I need money. Because I wish our elected delegates, we don't know what APC will do over weekend.
Let's wait and see.
Let's wait and see. We'll be here by God's grace today to discuss.
Yes, don't forget to keep a date with us tomorrow on same time, same station. I remain Winifred Ubebo. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.